This is a multinational stop-motion animated movie, and it's an odd one for a few reasons. The first one being that they managed to get some really talented voice actors. You got people like Brendan Gleeson, Ciarán Hinds, Michael McElhatton, the latter two being Mance Rayder and Roose Bolton from Game of Thrones. That being said, this was probably an afternoon's work for them. So I guess it's not that weird, but the rest of the movie is. First of all, the art style, especially when it comes to character design, is not great. A lot of them look really creepy. Like it'll give your kids nightmares kinda creepy. I mean, this is not your average Disney movie in any way, shape or form. But it does make sense considering this is a European production. And I immediately got some flashbacks to my childhood. Because I used to watch a lot of older European kids shows and movies. From the early 90s, 80s and even some older stuff. And some of it looked a lot like this. And it creeped me out back then too. The art style is just not very kid friendly. But the strange creepiness goes a lot deeper than that too. Because some of the things they do in this is like straight from those older kids shows. You know, back before people got up in arms about what kind of content kids should watch. I don't really want to get into details, but let's just say that there's definitely some stuff in this that you wouldn't see on the Disney Channel. Things that made me as an adult go, well, okay then, I guess they went there. And Jesus, is that really necessary? Is that really what the villain's gonna do? I mean, I think kids get coddled way too much these days. And they can handle a lot more depth and nuance than some of these modern kids shows offer. But then you have stuff like this that might actually upset like a 5-year-old. Don't get me wrong, it's not like an ultra-violent movie or anything. It's just that a few things that happen are kinda twisted. And not like gory or anything either, but messed up if you really think about it. And then add the creepy art style to it and it just makes it even creepier. So because of that, I would most likely advise you not to show this to your kids. Especially younger kids. Older kids can probably handle it. But even then, it's still sorta creepy. And there's better kids movies out there. And yeah, I realize I haven't actually talked about the story itself yet. So it's about this kid who lives in this little town. And his dad is a sailor, so he's gone a lot and the kid lives with this old lady, who's not exactly all that friendly. And through a strange series of events, he ends up on this little adventure. But here's the real issue, ignoring all the weirdness, which is kinda subjective. I just didn't care about anything that was going on. At all. It completely failed to connect with me and engage me on any level. It was kinda like watching a series of events unfold that I had no connection to whatsoever. And I'm not sure why or what the problem was, because on paper the story does work. I guess I just didn't find any of the characters compelling. And here's the thing, except for the stuff I mentioned before, I can't really point to anything about the movie that didn't work, or that I thought was poorly executed. Like it's a perfectly well-made stop-motion animation, in that regard, with a story that's essentially somewhat coherent and works. So if you don't mind the questionable weird stuff, I guess you might get something out of it. But would I recommend it? No, definitely not. It looks like a fun little kids movie, but there's not actually a whole lot of fun in it. And I'm even hesitant to call it a kids movie, so you can probably skip this one. Or don't. I'm not your dad. But I am trying to sell out, so consider liking, subbing, hitting that bell and supporting me on Patreon. Because I really need to get myself a ship, a crew and go treasure hunting. And hey, why not drop a comment below or check out another review? I'd appreciate it. Thanks.